Here we're going to take a look at another common issue in retouching, and that is how we can clean up a background element where it's touching an area of high contrast. Like we can see here in this portrait of myself and my daughter Annika, I have a pole sticking out of my head. And that happens a lot of times with new photographers. They take a picture, they focus on the subject, they neglect to look around the frame, look at what else is in the image, and we have this element that let's say we want to remove. And just as a quick side story, the background of this image is once a year they bring snow down to the harbor in Santa Barbara. You can have a snowball fight, throw snow into the ocean. It's really fun. And so here we are having fun, and I want to clean up this little snapshot. Well, one of the things that we might try to do is say use our healing brush. And if we select the healing brush and Option or Alt click and try to heal this out, it's not going to look good. Same thing with the clone stamp tool, Option or Alt click. We try to clean that up. It's just going to have this weird edge. What we can do is we can create a selection, and then we can heal or clone inside of that selection in order to improve our results. Let me show you what I mean. We'll go ahead and select the Quick Select tool. I'm simply going to click and paint across this area of the photograph. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer. So I'll click on the New Layer icon here. Name this new layer C1. Now currently we have just this area selected. That's the exact opposite of what I want. I want everything else selected. I want to protect this area. So let's inverse. Select and then choose inverse. Now while our selection looks a little strange, stick with me for a second. Here we'll grab the clone stamp tool. Aligned is turned on. All layers is turned on. We're going to Option or Alt click in a nice area of sky, very similar to where we're painting in. We'll go ahead and click and drag and paint across here. So again, Option or Alt click here and then paint in the retouching here. We have this nice edge detail. We can do the same thing over here and go ahead and paint in this area as well. And so the nice thing about this is we were able to protect a lot of the detail of the hair there, and it's going to look okay. Let's make our way to select and here choose deselect in order to deselect. And again, for the most part, it did a pretty good job. If we zoom in even closer, we're going to see that the only problem is there's a little bit of a yellow fringe right up there. Well, we could correct that by moving in really close, Option or Alt clicking on that background, and then just going in and adding just a little bit of blue onto that area. Just removing that yellow so it's not quite so noticeable there. Just a subtle little touch up. The rest of that hairline worked fine. Okay, well let's zoom back out. What about the rest of these items here? Well, again, there's a number of different ways we could remove these, but cloning works really well. In this case, our sky is so nice and easy to work with, so we'll Option or Alt click, and then we'll bring over some nice tone here and just remove this. One of the problems is it's a little bit darker in that area, so I then need to somehow blend this into something that's a bit lighter. We'll take a look at that here in 1 second. Option or Alt click over here, and Option or Alt click over there, just removing that from the sky there. And in this case, again, for the most part, it's okay, but there are some little kind of problem tone or texture areas. Well, here's what we can do to fix this up completely. Let's merge all that we've done to the top layer. Press Shift, Option, Command E, or Shift, Alt, Control E. That will merge those underlying layers to our topmost layer. We'll go ahead and name this one Merged. Next, we're going to make a selection, say with a lasso tool. I'm just going to select these different areas around here where I have a little bit of that brightness value issue. Now I can use my patch tool. Patch tool is a great tool to work on large areas. I'll click and drag this over here, and then I'll let go. That will really work wonders with the variation in tone which used to be there. Let's deselect that. Select and then deselect, and here we can see, yeah, much better. It did bring over a couple little blemishes, so I'm just going to encircle those by clicking and dragging and make sure I'm removing those. And a lot of times after I patch, I like to go back and just look for any strange little blemishes or little variations I'm noticing and just clean those up. And I caught a couple others while I was looking at the sky, a few others I hadn't noticed. All right, great. Let's deselect once again, select, and then deselect. Well, here we have that final little touch there. Here's before. I'll zoom in so you can actually see it, see the weird tone in the sky. And then now after, much more clean, much better looking area of the image. All right, let's look at the overall before and after. And here we have it, our before and then our after. And we're able to accomplish this by working with selections. And then once we created a selection, we started to do our retouching or our cleanup work. So just keep in mind, if ever you have areas of high contrast, and if ever you find your edges just aren't looking good, see if you can integrate using a selection into your retouching workflow, because many times that can really help you out.